today. Welcome to SmartTake, a special fall edition. SmartTake is the #1 monthly series for learning the most essential HubSpot product updates. Thanks for joining, Brian. Excited to walk through all of the updates from this last month. Lots of things rolling out since inbound. Excited to take everybody through really the top 5 updates and what people really need to be learning as they continue their HubSpot journey.
Absolutely. More than happy to join you as always. I'm excited to dig in to this month and in some off scripted updates and new developments. Paul is a dad, and we want to celebrate and say congratulations for Paul and Carly because he's says he's well rested, but he's joining us here to give you guys these updates even when he should be on leave for a little bit. So Paul, thank you. And congratulations to you and your family.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I couldn't miss a beat here, but yeah, we're really excited, and yeah, we'll have to share pictures sometime soon. Maybe we'll throw one of those at the end of the slide.
Good, good. I love it. We would love to see it.
Uh,
Well, again, yeah, thanks for hosting and inviting me to join. I'm excited to dig into some of these because I think there's good relevant stuff for folks to be able to action coming into this call.
Excellent. Well, let's jump right in then. So today what we're going to be walking through are the top 5 updates that you need to know. Brian and myself will be going back and forth on various new product releases. Some of these might be familiar if you were at Inbound 25 this year, if you watched any sort of the product keynotes. And some of these are a little bit more deep dives into those. And we'll even throw in a couple demos for that. So yeah, on the call today, myself, Brian, and then Nikki also in the chat is going to be surfacing any questions as those come up. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So the first update we're going to talk about today is in Marketing Hub. The first update in Marketing Hub is AI referrals and website traffic analytics. So why is this important? So what this essentially is if you've been using HubSpot analytics for monitoring growth of traffic, growth of leads, you've always seen, the standard channels of organic, paid, direct, etc. But what, as you've seen over the last year, more and more of that traffic is funneling in through various LLMs, and whether that's ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, etc. When you look at some of the data, what it's showing us is that the traffic that's coming from AI tends to convert at a much higher rate compared to all of our other channels, whether that's organic, direct, etc. And so I think it's really important that you are monitoring the growth of traffic over time, and you have that in your reporting, so you can see, how is that volume of traffic increasing over time? Because I think, like many of you out there, you're probably seeing your traffic numbers dip to some degree over the course of the last few years since ChatGPT came online. More of our audience is shifting their search habits to that channel, and maybe you're getting less organic referrals. So with this new HubSpot update, HubSpot has now included AI as a referral source. So you can see the traffic that's coming in from those various channels, and you can start to measure that over time. What I think is important is in 3 different areas. One is reporting. We talked about that. Number 2 is list building. For those of you that are in charge of segmentation within your database and running campaigns, you're going to want to build a list of those folks that are coming from LLMs. So that way you can see that over time. And then another use case, just of one of many, is lead scoring. Now that we have this type of data inside HubSpot, you should be thinking about how you can incorporate this into your lead scoring calculation. I think this is so important as you think about a lead that comes in from AI. You might want to give them a nice bump with it from a lead scoring perspective. So this is the big update in Marketing Hub for this month. Brian, what are something else that we should kind of know more about on the AI referral update?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things we touched on briefly and that was spoken about at Inbound is the AEO strategy tool that is coming to HubSpot. Some folks will be remember the SEO strategy tool, content strategy. AEO and understanding your performance is really important, not just in terms of the traffic that's coming to your site, but also how you can structure your content and maybe any gaps, how you're showing up and what citations are used in these AEO and these LLMs. Right now, that update, that AEO strategy tool that we've mentioned before, is in private beta. So it's a pretty limited access for customers. If you want to get into that, speak to your CSM. There may be a chance, but for everyone else, HubSpot has publicly available our AEO grader. Just drop the link into the Zoom chat here. The AEO grader, if you're familiar in the past with HubSpot's website grader or growth grader, will take your site, it'll search across the web, it'll make a map, strategy map of what your content looks like and give you insights into how you're performing and share a voice and how you can improve. So ultimately, that external tool will be built into the HubSpot product with greater intelligence over time. But check that out because, as Paul was saying, like this AEO shift, AI answer engine or AI engine optimization, however you want to call it, the AEO landscape is really important for understanding conversion and really how buyers are researching today. I know that we all probably do already with our own personal chat GPT accounts. And that's how we as marketers and salespeople can get greater insight into those buyer personas and how they're finding us.
Awesome. Well, with that, let's keep going next into Content Hub. So Content Hub, for everybody that's here today in the chat, if you want to drop in, how many of you have to create similar landing pages each month or each quarter for events, for campaigns you're running, for if you're doing ABM, you have to create lots of similar pages, landing pages for target accounts? Feel free to drop that in the chat. So why this update I want to share today is really useful is it solves for you. What AI-powered landing pages this new update does is HubSpot launched the ability to use AI to spin up landing pages, but you never had the ability to use your own custom landing pages to do that. And so this is a huge update for everybody that's on Content Pro, Hub Pro, and Enterprise, because if you have an event page or an ABM page that you really like, this is essentially going to allow you to go ahead and spin up that same page over and over and use AI to help fill in a good portion of that content. So what I'm going to do is just do a quick demo of this and show you how this works. And so what you'll essentially see on here is when you get into the landing page tool, you'll go in, you'll select the template that you want to do. You can see the custom template that I have on my right side here. And what you'll do on this is if you're spinning up the same landing page over and over, what you're going to do is just fill out sort of the various prompts and sections within this input part. So you're going to describe what your page is. You're going to discuss what the event is that you're hosting. If this is an event page, you come down here. There's various goals for the visitor. So it's good. This is more context that we're giving to AI to help us write some of that content. Next, if there's any supporting files. So let's say we're going to a trade show and the trade show has some sort of, maybe they have a PDF or something like that related to the trade show. You want to put that in there to give the AI a little bit more context. Next, you're going to want to say who's your audience and what are some of the details of the event. So by giving the landing page builder all of this information, it goes and fills out the page. I will say this gets us probably 85 to 90% of the way there. It does not get us 100% of the way there. Yeah. I think you still want to go in. Human needs to refine this. Human needs to review this to make sure this is great before it goes out. But by filling all this information, you fill that out, click generate with Breeze. It spins it up in probably 30 seconds to a minute. And you've got that page 85% of the way there. So just want to share how easy it is to fill this out. And if you're spinning up pages over and over and over, it's something that I think that you should definitely take a look at. So that's a little bit about the AI-powered landing page builder with custom templates. We're really excited about that update. Great. Sales Hub. Brian, take us through Deal Loss Agent. What is Deal Loss Agent?
Let's go. So Deal Loss Agent, just for orientation in terms of how agents work and live within HubSpot, this is a HubSpot built agent that you can customize yourself. It's accessible through the Breeze Studio. So on your left-hand sidebar, you go to a little starburst icon, which is the Breeze AI tools, over to the Breeze Studio, and be able to navigate through the marketplace, I should say. And that's where you can find this agent. You can actually customize it. But to give you a walkthrough on why this is so valuable for sales and sales managers, every lost deal represents a setback, but a chance to learn. And really too often, the reasons why deals were lost is buried in CRM notes. Sometimes reps aren't even diligent about doing notes. And so it's call transcripts or email copy back and forth, email conversations. So the Deal Loss Agent brings clarity to those reasons why, not just which deals were lost, but why, by being able to survey and see all of that unstructured data and bring that into a structured format to surface recurring patterns, segment in terms of like your industry or segments that you're selling to, or even rep level insights. So which reps are seeing common patterns in terms of why they've lost deals, misset expectations, pricing objections, misunderstanding. And it goes a step further. It gives you actually action-oriented recommendations for how to address those challenges and try and head them off so that you don't end up with the same, making the same mistakes time and time again. So ultimately, it saves sales managers a ton of time that they would be spent manually analyzing calls or pushing their reps to update the CRM with more insight in terms of the loss reasons. So I think this is really valuable for the time saving, the trend analysis, and ultimately the insight that you can bring to reps so that we don't end up making the same mistake again. I'll do a quick walkthrough of this just because I feel like it is valuable to understand where this lives and because it is available to everybody. So let me grab the screen real quick and I'll give you a quick walkthrough. So this is accessible over here under Breeze Studio. I just loaded in as the deal loss agent. This is in my demo portal. So I'm not going to give you a full output, but just for you to know how to get access to it, you click through and configure, okay? You configure by giving it a time frame. Do you want to see the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days worth of deals? You can ask it a specific question, or you can just let it run and it will generate a standardized response. You can actually edit these agent instructions by adding extra instructions, but it tells you, hey, what is your role as the agent? What are the inputs? What are your goals? Finding patterns, personas, cross deal signals, and what is the method? What are we looking at? We're looking at activities, calls, notes, meetings, all this unstructured data that's really hard to sift through to understand at a macro level what the trends are. All that data is available, but it's so hard to make that into kind of a structured pattern recognition format. And this is the power of AI with all of your CRM data. And you can give it extra instructions. It can learn off of all of your ideal customer profile, your brand, your products and services. You can automate it to run, let's say at the start of every month, to look back over the last 30 days and give you your close loss reasons. And you can actually manage who gets edit access and who can run it. So hyper valuable tool, all built straight into the Breeze Studio.
Super useful. Super useful, Brian. So yeah, I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of these types of agents with our presentations each month. You're going to see there's a lot of agents that HubSpot's building out, and we're going to talk about custom agents later. But these are the kinds of things that you'll be seeing more and more of in the coming webinars. Next up, we have Data Hub. Let's jump into Data Agent. Brian, do you want to take us through what is Data Agent? How does this was a new announcement at Inbound this year. Take us through this a bit.
For sure. Okay, let's run it back. I'm going to grab the screen again in 1 second. With Data Agent, what we're doing here inside of your CRM is using AI to get custom customer intelligence automatically instead of spending hours on manual research. And the use cases here are many. One of the key use cases that I like to speak to, having come from the sales world, is account research. Being able to dig in pretty deep and figure out all the ins and outs of an account before I go in and start prospecting. I want to know recent news. I want to know their competitors. I want to know what products they're using currently. I want to know trends in their industry. And these are things that I can surface as an individual, 30, 40 minutes of research. Maybe I'm going to populate that into CRM notes. That takes a ton of time. And then the ability to use that at a large scale to qualify folks in and out for my prospecting efforts. The next use case could be marketers being able to get insights and research from everything from call transcripts to the web to emails and other notes that you have or structured data in your CRM. So Data Agent searches all of these external sources and can provide a structured format that will populate in your CRM. So this I'm definitely going to demo and take you through a little bit more of a detailed walkthrough. And as I'm pulling this up, I think folks find it valuable when we get an understanding of some comparisons and kind of what other products this is like and what is in, where and why it's different. So what we're talking about here If you're familiar with Clay, it's different from Clay or Claygent because the Clay side really only searches the web. This is built directly into your CRM. So it gets all of your CRM data, all of your structured data and unstructured data, call transcripts and email communications. For something like ChatGPT, which you might be using externally, ChatGPT doesn't have direct access into your CRM to update records or change records. And so it takes a lot of manual work if you're going to be able to do some deep research outside and try and pull that back in for use cases like hyper personalized marketing campaigns based on trigger events, or like the sales rep research use case. Reduces time on that manual tasks and improves personalization and knowledge and puts it all in a structured format. So a perfect example of how the data agent functions, the data agent will build smart properties. There's a couple of different functions. One is build smart properties, which I'm about to demonstrate here. One is to be able to trigger smart properties off of a workflow. Let's say someone fills out a form on your website, asks to speak to sales, boom, it's going to populate all of these columns I'm going to walk you through here in a second as an example. Or you can also run this in Data Studio using external data sources and be able to marry those up inside of HubSpot. So a quick walkthrough. All right, what we're looking at here are a couple smart properties that were built with Data Agent. You can see the little starburst icon. These are some examples of research that could be done around competitors that were mentioned on calls, main pain points that were coming out of call transcripts, or the tech stack that they're using currently. Now, how do I go ahead and build this? You can go ahead and create a smart property. I'll give you an example of how this smart property was created. And we're asking, what are the main pain points or challenges faced by this company? We're searching in call transcripts. This gives insights for everyone in the organization, service, sales, and even marketing, all of that info from call transcripts. And it will populate once we do a full smart fill all the way down and give you the pain points that were described. The thing that I love about this is not only that it gives you this data built structured in a structured format straight into your CRM, but it also gives you the details and the sources of where it came from. So what is the prompt? What is the summary? But also the fact that it came from this particular call transcript helps you to feel like, one, it's valid, and two, to be able to go back and reference the original source. Those are huge. Now, how do we go ahead and actually create a new one? That was just an example of how that was edited. We can go ahead and add a column. For example, we're going to create a column that's bucketing these folks into segment size, small biz, mid-market, enterprise. And this is just the vibe coding example. This is a natural language prompt. And the system will go ahead and build a recommended property for you. Visit small biz, mid-market, enterprise, what that prompt looks like. And you can also test the property to see what it will show. And instead of without burning any credits on it, you can say, all right, quadrant will show up and it'll look like this. Okay, yes, I feel confident this is what I want to create. I create that property. And you don't have to fill your entire database because each fill is 10 credits, 10 cents. So you can go ahead and create the property and then create your filters and make sure you have the accounts that you want to have smart filled. Boom, go ahead, hit smart fill. And now you reduce that time to research. You can build a really targeted mid-market sales campaign or marketing effort off of this data. And all of this lives inside of your HubSpot, sourced from all of these different locations in a really smooth way. So again, this can be triggered off of a workflow action. It can also be done manually like we just showed. And you can build really as many of these as you want. They're just filled via 10 cents per fill with credits. Is this similar to ZoomInfo's capabilities? Yes, right. So I think this is important, like Clay or ZoomInfo, like in terms of comparison. Yes, but what we're pulling from is far more. It's like the custom intelligence. ZoomInfo will go out and get firmographic information from out there on the web, which this can do. But if your team has had calls with folks or has established some sentiment or kind of can understand sentiment, they've heard on a call that someone has a renewal date coming up for their Marketo contract and you're trying to sell them HubSpot, that's stuff that ZoomInfo won't have. And it makes it hyper personalized to you. So yes, it's a great kind of reference point, but this is the contextual nature is really the value prop here.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for taking us through that, Brian. And so, one little freebie we're going to take you through, we'll send out to everybody here for Data Agent is a new tool that SmartBug just launched, which is a data hub agent. And essentially, it's an idea generator for Data Hub. So, I think one of the challenges with Data Hub is that companies struggle to think about like what are the different use cases I could leverage Data Agent for. And so we'll send this out afterwards, but what you can do is essentially put in your domain for your own company, and then our agent will give you 10 ideas of different types of third-party data that's really relevant for you that you could then pull into Data Agent. So wanted to share this with you. I think it's really useful, and I think you'll start to understand the context of how Data Agent can be used to pull in third-party data sources, how you can use AI to crawl both your CRM data and third-party data to really arm your marketing, sales, and service teams. So we'll share that out in email after this. Awesome. Let's get into Breeze next. So, Breeze Studio custom assistants. So, I would be curious if anybody in the chat, if you want to just chime in, how many of you use custom GPTs in your day-to-day routine through Chat GPT, or maybe you use custom gems in Gemini, or you use Claude, their own custom projects. How many of you use those? I think that I use custom GPTs and gems on a day-to-day basis. Just one quick example. I run a big industry analysis every month, and to make my life a little bit easier, I've created a gem that essentially all I have to do is go in, pull in, industry news. I go in and I pull in research from analyst reports. I go pull in some competitive insights, and then I have my custom gem or my Gemini gem go in and build me out a very well formatted report that then I can share with my executive team. I think this report is really useful for the team. Everybody, gets to see these insights each month, but it definitely takes time. And so why this new update from HubSpot is important is the custom assistance essentially allows you to build these custom agents inside of HubSpot. So custom assistants essentially allow you to pull in your own prompts, and then be able to use this. And instead of having to like jump over to another screen to be able to ask questions or have it do tasks, you can do this all inside of HubSpot. So I'm just going to show you a quick example of one that our team uses, and I think that you can feel free to steal this idea as well. But it's something that saves our team a ton of time. And so if you go into HubSpot inside the custom assistance area, we've built a client example finder. And what this does is essentially one of the questions that comes up so frequently in sales conversations and from our existing clients is like, hey, do you have a client that's done this kind of thing in the past? That's done this kind of campaign, or have you worked with clients in this kind of vertical in the past? And for our delivery team and our sales teams, if they don't know every single client that SmartBug has ever worked with. And so for them to be able to understand that, in many cases, for likely many of you, you probably have to go dig into your CRM. You have to go dig into your Google Drive or whatever, drive system you use to figure out if you've worked with a similar type of client. But what the custom assistant that we've built essentially allows you to just go ask a question. Have we worked with a client in this type of industry, in this type of project? And then it goes and surfaces all of these types of examples. And so where you access this from essentially is if you go, once you build out the assistant, you click on this at the very top right, you can then decide what type of assistant you want to pull from. And this this is saving our sales team probably an hour per client that they're talking with. So, I really recommend, start to think about like, what are the different types of assistants that will save your team a little bit of time that you can go build out inside of HubSpot. So we're really excited about custom assistants. Excited to see what other kinds of use cases you all build. Brian, anything else you want to add on this one?
I think the client example finder is huge. I mean, we have that even over here at HubSpot, that request all the time. Hey, who's been successful in this particular industry or this particular product in the past? Additionally, something that coming from the sales org at the HubSpot side, there's a lot of nuance to what you get credit for, like deal rules, who's responsible for selling which account, the kind of like internal, I don't know if it's politicky stuff, but some of that stuff is hard to decipher, especially for new folks who haven't been through the process before. So we have something that has our own internal wiki with all the rules of engagement and how things get divvied up and who's responsible for what. So that sales GPT is built into HubSpot as a custom assistant that we use. So I really like that for certain segments of deep knowledge that folks will need to reference to help them reduce time for digging for answers and feel more confident in the output. So I think that custom assistance can go a long way for folks. Something else about the assistance functionality within HubSpot is not only does it have memory, which I think is really valuable for folks to know, is that once you're using Breeze Assistant or even custom assistants, it can understand what kind of output you like or who you are, but it's also free. So whereas agents, like the data agent I was just talking about, it's 10 cents per fill or 10 credits. And deal loss agent currently does not charge any credits, but will at some point in time. Breeze assistants are free and don't require credits. So when you're thinking about how you can use AI in your day-to-day flow, start thinking about assistance and see if there's particular knowledge gaps or centers of knowledge that you really want to have accessible to all members of your team. It's a great place to start with assistance.
Well, that's it, Brian. We've hit the end. Thanks everybody for joining today. Just a couple of things we're going to send your way. First off, if any of you saw the inbound 25 updates and you just like a run through of like what some of those are, we'd love to hear from you. Or if you just like an audit of your own HubSpot, please reach out to us. We'd love to just show you some ways that you can get more value out of your HubSpot investment, either marketing, sales, service, content hub, data hub. So please definitely reach out. We'd love to hear more from you. Next, we're going to send you a video on how you can use custom GPTs and gems for your own team. This is something our team definitely uses across the board. And then lastly, we talked about that data hub agent idea generator. So I'd love to hear some of your feedback on that, and we will get that to you. And so for those of you who are here today, thank you. And please join us next month. We'd love to share some of the updates coming from this month with you. And if we can get your feedback too, please let us know. We'd love to just help understand if you like more of the demo parts of today's presentation, or if you like some of the walkthrough of some of the features. We'd love to hear more from you. Thanks everybody. Thanks Brian. Thanks Nikki. And we look forward to seeing you all next month.
Thanks, Steve. See you soon.
Thank you for watching.